Hey guys, J-Man here, back to talk some more women of wrestling. There's a lot to talk about, so we're just going to get right into it. Let's bring in my co-host. Booyah! There you go.
Ooh, yeah.
All right. I posted a rubbish poll because I didn't know what to pick. I just said, "What is your favorite brand? SmackDown, Raw, NXT." You guys can vote on that. We'll do super fast show updates tomorrow. Sean and myself and Professor Bill from Comic Book University are going to be looking at the 90s comics that came out in March of 1991. So that's done through Mike's Amazing World of Comics, where we can see the release dates and all of that stuff. We're going to go through every comic book that came out, and we're going to talk about how awesome every comic book was. And if it wasn't awesome, we're going to pretend it was awesome anyways, because 90s comics are great. That's what's going to happen. Next week, what is going on next week? Let's take it. Well, I don't know what happened. My phone. Sorry? Saturday. Oh, Saturday. Yeah, it's the first thing to start out. I have that on my next week's schedule. So this Saturday, special show, we're going to be ranking. This is right before Spider-Man in the universe of whatever, across the time. No.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay, Spider-Man has won the award for most confusing titles of a franchise. Yeah. When I was ranked, so we're going to rank them on Saturday. We're going to rank them, not tier ranking them. We're going to list our worst to our best in order. And it's going to include the 3 Raimi films, the two Andrew Garfield movies, the 3 Tom Holland movies, and Spider-Verse. So anything that theatrically came out. I know that the Nicholas Hammond, they spliced a couple of things together, like 2-parters together, and they did get released in some theaters, but not really. So we're not going to count that. And plus, I don't think anyone has access to those except for me. Well, Sean probably has those access to those. I have the VHS tapes from when they came out. Still have the actual VHS tapes, which is pretty cool. So that's going to be Friday. Then Saturday. And then next week, we'll still do Wednesday for wrestling, right? Is that still good?
I think we do it later though, so I can watch NXT before we do it, like 7:30 instead of 6:30.
Yeah, that's fine. And then I don't know what's going on. If like our friend wants to go see Evil Dead, so I may or may not go to that. But next Friday is the 80s Fantasy Versus. It's going to be Ator the Flying Eagle versus Hawk the Slayer. I haven't rewatched either of those in 100 years. I just upgraded my Ator to Blu-ray, so I'm going to watch the Blu. My Hawk the Slayer, unfortunately, is DVD. But what can you do? You can't get Blu-ray of that. But Ator, I got Blu-ray. And actually, it wasn't even an upgrade. I never owned Ator in any form. So it's hard to find the Ator movies, and like part 2 and 3 are super expensive on DVD. Part 1 came out on Blu-ray, so fine, I've got that. And part 4 is not Miles O'Keefe. I don't even remember what it's called. What were we gonna say?
I cannot wait for the Spider-Man thing because I'm going to piss off so many people.
No, don't do it, man. I'm about to piss people off. I'm gonna piss people off. Steve, I knew you were gonna do this to me. I was thinking this morning. I was thinking about I was taking a dump this morning. No. I was thinking, I'm like, because I was doing my list, I was like, oh, I'm going to piss people off big time with this list. And I was like, oh no, I bet you Steve's going to one-up me on. I was like, no, I'm going to say mine first.
I'm pissing people off, man. There's certain people, if you invite them, they're not going to like me. If they like me now, they're not going to like me after.
Okay, so there are people coming. Well, one person is going to like you, but he might not come now. He basically begged me. The second I posted this, I got a tweet immediately from this person who begged me to be on it. I was like, I'll just do your order for you because I know what your order is going to be. I said, fine, you can come on. So we'll see how it goes. But
one who might defend me is Sean. If you invite Sean, but no one else is going to defend me on these.
Well, I'm going to defend you because I think we're going to have the same list.
Very close, I think.
I think we're going to have a very, very close list. And the one thing that you have on your side is that you've been rereading all the Amazing Spider-Mans. So you're like, dude, I've read like 400 Spider-Man comics in the
Getting
last
up
year
there.
or
Getting
whatever, right? So
Yeah.
it's like it's going to be hard to top that. Say, listen, well, I have very clear reasons on why.
Me too. Me too.
And I don't think they can be. They can. I can't be bargained with. I can't
No.
be.
Terminator Man.
I'm the Terminator.
Well, the thing is too is that, to be honest with you, I really am taking the approach with this one is which one. This was actually easier when I took the approach of which one am I going to rewatch again. For I literally listed them like which one would I rewatch. If you said 9 movies, which one? If you can only pick one to rewatch, which one? And then it was next, and then it was next, and then it was next.
So remove that one. We know Spider-Man 2 is the best, but whatever. Remove Spider-Man 2. Now which one are you going to watch?
Yeah.
Remove that one. Now which one are you going to watch?
Yeah.
Right? I literally look, Spider-Man 2 is the best. I mean, whatever. We'll talk it. No, nobody's watching yet. We've only got 1 or 2 people in the stream, and they're not going to care. We know part 2 is the best. So that's an easy one. And then I know which one I don't like the least. And then I know I like my bottom 3 were like super easy.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, that got rid of 4 movies. My top one was easy. If someone doesn't say Spider-Man 2, I'm going to be like blown away. Yeah. I will be blown away. They better have a truckload of reasons why. Because even Rashmi, like my wife, who doesn't care about Spider-Man at all, even she likes that movie. She bought that movie, just that. That's the only Spider-Man. She didn't buy part 1 or 3 or any of the other ones. So that's a movie that transcends superheroes. Anyways, so yeah. All right. So we have to talk about last week's NXT, not just this week's NXT, actually, because we didn't talk about that one. So we'll breeze through that, and SmackDown has nothing. So really, it's just going to be Raw and this week's NXT. But last week's NXT actually had a lot of bullet points. We had Indy. They were chanting for her, so that's good. Roxanne deserves a chance, a rematch. Zoe Stark came out and was like, no, and I am starting to get a little bit like they need to move Zoe. Like we haven't, we saw Dewdrop make an appearance and Meechin and all this. It's like all these people started coming in. It's like, you know what? There's no Alexa Bliss isn't around. It's like we have to start getting some of these people up here because I'm starting to think like NXT, the women's storylines in NXT are way better than the ones in the other brands.
Oh yeah.
But now it's getting to the point where there's too many of the women and there's some that aren't involved in anything. And Zoe is just like walking around. Like, are you making her the champion or just move her to Raw?
Well, Alexa Bliss has cancer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She has skin cancer. Using the tanning thing, she got skin cancer. She's going through treatment for skin cancer.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
So she will not be back anytime soon.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't even see that post. Yeah. Oh, because you know what? She's not going to post that on her thing. No. That must have. Oh shit.
No.
Wow.
Zoe Stark. So here's the thing about NXT. Regardless of what people say about NXT is still pretty much the developmental roster. They are the ones who are, because they're right by the Performance Center. That's why they're at Full Sail University. They are anchored in Orlando, except for important pay-per-views where they do go to like Los Angeles or whatnot, like they did for Stand and Deliver. So if you're in developmental, you are there because you need to work on something, be it mic skills or action, whatever, like storytelling in the ring, whatever you need to do. And with some of the wrestlers, you can see it. What more does Zoe Stark need to work on?
Yeah.
The woman is great at everything. There is no reason to keep her there. Absolutely none. The only reason you would keep a worker there is because they want to stay there.
Maybe she wants to stay there, you think?
I mean, maybe it's because it's very stable. You're always in the same place. You're not like, look at the Raw and SmackDown wrestlers are constantly traveling the world. They're always away from home. They're always on the road. It's the usual thing. Like I'm on the road all the time. I mean, what like if you're trying to, if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend who lives in Orlando and you want to see them all the time, you can't be on the road all the time.
Right.
That is why Roman Reigns is now a part-time wrestler. He is spending more time at home with his family. There you go. So Zoe Stark, 29, she's got a long-term boyfriend. She doesn't have children, I don't think, but maybe it's that. Maybe she's comfortable there. She likes living in Orlando. She doesn't necessarily want to travel around. Now, a lot of people do want to go around.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Brian. Yeah, they can throw them in there too.
Yeah. I mean, Toxic Attraction. I am very interested to see if they keep them apart, because apart they aren't as good as together, obviously. But I am intrigued by Gigi Dolan as a singles wrestler. First of all, she looks way better now that she's a face.
Yeah.
Like she actually looks really attractive all the time now, and I'm like, nah, I didn't call that one. But I feel like JC Jane has more potential as a singles wrestler. I more than Gigi. I just haven't seen JC Jane break out in any way, shape, or form. I don't even know what her finisher is. I know Gigi's is the crucifix bomb, which is kind of mediocre to me. But like JC Jane is an unknown to me. I mean, I think she's a better personality than Gigi, but I have zero idea.
I feel like JC and Cora Jade like are similar.
A little similar,
like in their character, right?
Kind
like,
of.
Oh, I'm like like a big bitchy girl or whatever. It's like, well,
I
like JC Jane.
I think JC Jane is a little bit more of the stereotypical mean girl versus Cora Jade, who is more of a like a rebel. Like I think JC Jane would team up with another heel based on Cora Jade's speech this week. She wouldn't.
Right.
She will never team again, apparently, based on.
Well, she
doesn't like anyone.
She hates everybody. She even mentioned your name. She's like, "That Steven guy can't."
Yeah, I caught that, but I'm like, yeah, I'm used to that, so I don't.
Well, JC Jane had a spot, so she's like, "I broke your face, your heart, your will," so we can talk about. I guess we kind of did talk about that. I'm okay with her on her own.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that. I
agree with that. But those two are really
that too.
Those two are fun. They're fun to watch. Those two.
Yeah, but just going back to the indie, because I didn't really address.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Indy and Zoe. No. Indy and Zoe are. It was a good match. Indy does deserve, like in the age of before we knew about everything backstage, it was okay for the same person to be there, and we understood the roles of the people like Jake Roberts and that.
Right.
I don't recall ever thinking, why isn't Jake Roberts champ? Or The Rock Don Morocco or Ken Patera. But now that we are so aware of everything backstage, and we see these people on Instagram and Facebook and all that we we didn't have back in the day, we appreciate them more as human beings. So we'll push that person who would not have been pushed back in the 80s, because they're more like, we're more aware of them as a person than we were. Like Hulk Hogan was a superhero to all of us.
Yeah,
he was a legit superhero. When all the stuff came out about him and women and blah 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 blah, like we were like, I have no idea, right? Like it was foreign to us, and all this shit backstage that was going on, we didn't know. Everything now we know. So we actually know who the good people are and who the good workers are. And now you're seeing people cheer for them as opposed to who the company wants you necessarily to cheer for.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, it's different. It's different now because it's just weird. Like
the
knowing
fully back. There's no more kayfabe. The curtain's fully back. There's no more kayfabe.
Yeah, knowing all this stuff, it's like, it's just so weird, you know. And then like, are you this person now? And then that's why it even makes it weird too when someone like Ronda's using her name. Like we were talking about, like, so you got Liv Morgan's autograph. I got Bailey's and Cody's. Yeah. So now I've got Bailey, Cody, Liv, Alexa, and Greg the Hammer Valentine from before. Those are the autographs I have, and I've got Io Sky and Dakota Kai on the big
and Bailey.
thing. And you've got Bailey, yeah, and you've got those three:
And
Alexa,
Trish.
Liv, Trish, and
Damage.
yeah. So it's like, but what do they sign? Like that's not their names. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So Ric Flair is coming to Niagara Falls.
I saw that.
So I think I'm getting the photo.
It's going to be hard not to. I mean, he is a legend.
He's a legend. He's getting older now too.
He is. So you don't know.
Yeah.
Well, he's cheated death so many times. That guy's never dying.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Just in case, I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna look at the price. I'll probably do it too, though, because it's Ric frigging Flair.
He has the longest hair of everybody on that. I need the Becky. I can get Becky's autograph from eBay, but I'd rather get it from the WWE shop because then it's like guaranteed authenticity. It's authentic or whatever. I'm not saying it's not off the eBay, but anyway. All right, so we had the JC Jane thing, so that's fine. We had Alba and Isla, who I'm kind of liking them now. I don't know. I've been following Isla Dawn on her social media, and when she's not in makeup, it's good.
Way better.
So I'm kind of like, and now I'm like, I like these two. I don't know. At least I don't like supernatural stuff, but they're not performing supernatural things. They're just like the look of supernatural characters. So I'm starting to be like, as long as they're not doing actual witchcraft to actually possess people, I'm not as tense over it. But I mean, whatever. Like, do you have anything to say on them, or are you just like,
Yeah, I'm still. I just don't understand. Like, I don't mind people who talk in riddles and are just overly vague if there's a point or it's funny, and I just don't see. I'm not feeling it with these guys, with these girls. Mm-hmm. I don't have anything against them. I don't barf when I see them, but like, the mystic and blah blah. I tune out. Like, I don't care. Like it would just be like until someone calls them out on it and makes something of it. It's just two Scottish women talking rubbish to me, and I'm like, sure. It would be like coming across a crazy person on the street who is like overly religious and starts yelling stuff at you, and you're like, sure, and you continue on your way. Like there's got to be some sort of comedy thing or some sort of acknowledgement that this is not.
Right.
And, someone needs to either call them out or it's got to be put as a ruse or something.
At least it's not Bray Wyatt and the Bordometer
well, the problem is that Bray Wyatt comes out and he's like, I'm Bray Wyatt and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, I haven't seen you wrestle. Like, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire wrestle.
Right.
Bray Wyatt had one match one televised match or pay-per-view match in like 9 months or something, and it's just like, I don't like, you're not a compelling enough personality that I can sustain 9 months of you coming into a ring with a lantern and saying you're Bray Wyatt and demons and shit.
Yeah,
right.
I don't care.
Like,
it's too serious.
It's just, I don't understand, like, I like Bray Wyatt, the insane guy, like the insane cult leader I liked. Because it's like, he's like, follow the buzzards and he's the eater worlds and that. And Rock came out and said he's your eater of Hot Pockets. And anyhow, I like that I get. Right. I just don't get Bray Wyatt, like, coming out and he's like, don't make me do it. And I'm like, do what? Don't make me be evil. Okay, don't be evil. Like, I'm like, I got lost by the third like promo about what are we doing here? What are we not doing or avoiding? And LA Knight came out and it's like, he got attacked and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay. And then it's like, oh, you don't want me to be evil. I'm like, you're going to fight LA Knight. Just fight him. What is wrong with you? Right. I've seen Mustafa Ali fight 88 guys while you've been saying don't make you be evil. I don't. I don't get it.
Yeah. All right, we had Zoe versus Indy. Indy won. Tiffany came out, and then Cora came out.
Yep.
So I mean, there. I'm trying to remember. This is so far back now. So what? I think there was a couple of weird moves, or like it's like it's like Zoe was jumping and just there's no one there. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, there was stuff like that, or she kicked and it's obvious she missed, or
Yeah.
whatever. And generally these two are solid, and I think overall the match was solid. I don't think it was anything particularly memorable because you and I are both struggling to remember it.
Yeah.
It's more so because they needed to address the thought process that Indy's going to drop it within 5 days of winning it or whatever the hell it was, and it's like, no,
Right.
she's not. They're going, if they treat her like a legit champion, that's cool. I don't know if they are, but if they do that, then I'm cool with that, because for the love of God, like Mandy had it for over a year, and then Roxanne had it until, well, we'll get to it, but until shit happened.
Yeah.
And now Indy's got it. The one person we didn't think would win it, don't strip her of it like immediately, because then the fans will be like, well, what the hell? Like, why?
Yeah. Like, why'd you even bother?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get we'll talk about Roxanne Perez after, but like her angle with like now she has mental.
She's got anxiety, and I was kind of like, is that why you dropped the belt? Because you have anxiety?
Like that's dumb.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Then we had the old Kiana, I guess, needed her bag.
I
mean, this is so silly.
It's beyond silly, but it's wildly entertaining to me.
Yeah.
Like, this is,
why didn't you give me my bag? Like,
if you cut the men out, well, no, you keep the men, but don't make them involved too much, other than for facial reactions and like off. Like, I just want Fallon and Kiana to argue all the time and just like interact, because I find the two of them like crazy entertaining together.
They are pretty fun. Brian says thought he was going to get the Zack Ryder.
Woo woo woo! You know it. He is Chelsea Green's husband. Zack Ryder is Chelsea Green's legit husband.
Oh, cool. Yeah, too bad Chelsea's not around now.
Well, I don't know how you disintend your gallbladder, but she managed to do it.
I don't even know. Like, it's like I don't even know what half that stuff means. It's like a bad thing happened. So anyway, okay, we had Ivy Nile and Tatum Paxley. Tatum tapped out.
Yeah, Ivy pretty much beat the living hell out of her. I think she even no-selled offense.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Ivy Nile I've been waiting to see. Because this is the Ivy Nile who she comes into the ring and she frigging lifts herself off the ground, off the top turnbuckle, showing her upper body strength, and then she frigging loses. And I'm like, when are we going to see the Ivy Nile who's like the powerhouse destroyer? And it took her beating the living hell out of Tatum Paxley for that to happen. So I'm glad that happened. My question is, now what?
Right. Well, they talked a little bit about it. I think we'll get to that. And then Cora in the parking lot. And then, was that Lyra Valkyra or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell. It was like, I was like, who is that again?
Figures and without the feathers and the fat boots.
Yeah. I didn't recognize you without your crop costume on. It's like, I like Cora Jade. I mean, I think she's great.
She's awesome.
So we'll talk about her on her thing. All right, so SmackDown, Raquel and Liv versus Natalya and Shotzi. We knew Liv and Thing were going to win that.
That was such a like burner match where it's just like, we need to have women appear. Like, I was sitting there watching the entire thing like, I don't understand what's going on. What are we doing? Like, what again? Why is the winner like? Why is the winner of that showcase match at WrestleMania? Why are the two winners like MIA? We have Raquel and Liv, and they had a tune-up match versus Natalya and Shotzi, and I'm like, why? What's his due?
Yeah, and I don't know what happened with Ronda and like, is there any word on Ronda and Shayna? Like, what's going on with that?
I wonder if Shayna hurt her leg when she decided that she didn't need a boot at WrestleMania. I have no idea.
We'll look it up once we're done the general talk, because like what the hell's going on around here?
Like it's literally like, look, we need a women's match. We want to put Raquel and Liv out there because we're going to give them the tag bouts. Who like, they're like, Natalya and Shotzi, you're in the back. You come out and wrestle in a meaningless match and lose. Come on. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, like
yeah. Then we had Rhea Ripley chasing around Zelina Vega.
Who they are trying. The WWE is trying desperately not to have turn face right now.
They're trying to remind you that she's a heel. Remember, she's with Dom. It's like, remember, she's with Damian Priest. Remember, she's with the other guy who I can't remember his name. Finn Balor. Remember, she's with those guys. And people are like, yeah. It's like, no. guys. She's with them. This is like a Dungeons and Dragons DM where where like the NPC comes up to the players and it's like, I think the hidden treasure is in the North Castle. And they're like, cool, let's go south. No, guys. Hold on a second. It's like, remember that treasure you needed? It's in that castle. It's like, okay, what do you want to do? Okay, I ride away from the castle. No, hold on, guys.
And the response is immediate when that happens. Right. It's not even like the words are out of the NPC's mouth and they're like, yeah, I'm doing the opposite. It's like,
I'm doing the opposite. I don't want to go to the castle. It's like, it's like, okay, fine. The treasure's in the same direction you're going.
Or the best thing, and there's a certain player who always does this. You do that, and it's like, okay, we got to prepare, and there's 100 years of preparation to go to the castle.
Yeah, can we take 2 weeks of rest? It's like, no. The treasure's gone. Like, while you're resting, the treasure is gone.
Someone else walked in and got it.
Someone else got it. That's how old D&D used to be. There are huge dungeons, and you'd have multiple games going, and you'd run into other parties.
Oh,
so it's like, if you didn't show up, let's say if it was 5 of us playing, and I'm the DM, you guys are the four of you guys, and like we're doing this dungeon, and you don't show up, they just leave you in that room and continue on. And when you do show up, you just catch up to them, and you missed whatever experience points or gold, that they got.
Oh, that's crazy.
And then there'd be other parties. So let's say I'm running the same dungeon with a bunch of other people. They come in and just pass you because you've cleared it all. And then they go ahead of you because you're resting. that was like Dungeons and Dragons was literally Dungeons and Dragons. You didn't go. It was like getting more treasure to buy more stuff, to kill more monsters, to get more treasure, to buy more stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get to level 20 and then you're like, okay, now let's start again.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's it. So now we got Raw. I posted a short saying before Raw. I said, Are you guys pumped for Trish to turn heel? Which, of course, we already knew that was going to really happen. So Lita was attacked
by a mysterious person who moved there to Raw from NXT, who was attacking people in the parking lot.
Yeah, parking lot attacker. The Not Me ghost from Family Circus. I used to read the Family Circus comic strip. And there's like a ghost that says Not Me. It's like literally a ghost. Yeah. So the parents would always ask the kids, hey, did you do this? It's like, oh, not me. It's like, who did this? Not me, not me. And it was like literally a ghost that's called Not Me. He's doing all this stuff.
If they introduced that would be the best ever.
Not me. Okay, so Raquel Liv. Yeah, Trish respects. Okay, everyone. Yeah, everyone. They did the whole everyone off the top rope thing because they like doing that now.
Yeah.
So Liv obviously got the win on she pinned Trish, right?
Yeah, she rolled up Trish.
And then I mean the story of Trish turning bad was weird in this. Like usually they play these things out better.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't played out like I knew it was happening because we just knew, right?
We knew,
but it didn't play out like I always think back to like Mega Powers Explode or even Sid and Hogan, where like they planted a seed, even if it was just a little one. You're like, oh, I don't know, I think Sid's being weird, like
yeah.
And he's like kind of like I remember he's sitting there and like Hogan's like, oh, tag, and he's just like kind of not paying attention. It's like, oh, I missed the tag. What happened? Like that kind of crap. But it seemed like so as the match was going on, I was like, oh, Trish isn't gonna turn. That's weird, because now there's no hints, and then they're raising their hands. I was like, oh, that's really weird. And it's like, oh, now she attacks her. I'm like, but there was no provocation for that. Like, it should have been something where like Trish got pinned because Becky effed up, or I don't know. It just didn't really look like that to me. I don't know. Maybe they tried to do it and I missed it. It was too subtle, but
no, I saw the whole thing. Okay, so here's how I would have booked it.
Yeah.
Still have the Lita thing. You're giving Lita a rest. Lita can't do what she used to do. Trish steps in. I'll be your tag team partner. And then they win. I would have had them win. And then Trish is like, oh, I really like that. Let's do that again. Right?
Yeah.
And then they defend the belts and they win again. And they win again. And they win again. I would have them win 4 or 5 in a row. And then Lita's like, hey, guys, I'm back. I'm ready.
Yeah, it's like, nope.
And Trish is like, oh, I mean, you are the champ, but like, we're so good together. Do you really need, like, why can't you sit this one out?
Right.
This thing. And he's like, nope, I'm the champ. And then Trish is like, okay. And then it's sort of like what they're doing, where she's like, yay, but you can tell she doesn't like it.
Right.
And then eventually she turns on both Lita and Becky. Right. And
what if they had a match with Lita and Trish? The winner becomes the tag.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah, like something like that where it's a little bit more innocent. Like Trish is like, oh, I have a purpose now. Oh, I'm really good at this. We're good together. We could go on a legendary run. What the hell? And then Lita comes back. She's like, oh, right. You are back. Like freaking hell. Like sort of thing. And then it becomes like a little bit more, that makes sense. First of all, I'm assuming Trish is the one who did this to Lita.
Well, let's see.
Knocked out Lita so she could be the tag belt. Yeah, I didn't think I didn't think that. I didn't think that because I was thinking, okay, I thought they would do, because I start booking. When I start booking in my head, it usually never happens because obviously I would never book for WWE. But that's what I would do, because I'm like, okay, you lost, but you lost. Trish lost. This isn't like Becky lost and then Trish is like, you idiot. Like,
I know, that's what I'm saying. It didn't make sense.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. And she lost clean.
Right.
It wasn't like Becky hit Trish and then Trish got rolled up. It's just Becky got knocked out and then Trish got rolled up. And I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. And then she hit Becky and she walks out and it's like she's catatonic. Yeah, I guess so, Brian. I think more in story, and I have a good memory, so I remember I would connect things better than they do. Like feuds,
but it was weird. Like, like they didn't like all these matches. They always show something like Hogan left to take Elizabeth or whatever, and then Macho Man's like, dude, you left me. What, like none of those shenanigan things happen. Like Sid, I always remember Sid. He's kind of like, oh, he's like kind of leaning, and Hogan's like tag, and Sid's like, kind of, like isn't really tagging in.
Look at NXT with Duke Hudson and Chase U. They were teasing a heel turn, and we were convinced it was going to happen, and then they swerved us and didn't have it happen. Which was genius, but they definitely played it out. Like Duke was disengaged. And then Andre Chase wouldn't tag him in. And he's literally, I loved him standing in the thing. He's like, Like this, like
Yep.
like my hand is out here, like
Hello.
yeah, as like he won't tag. Like that was better drawn out. This had there was no indication. It was just like, and there was no reason for it. And then like Byron Sax, I love Byron Sax now because he's just so earnest, and it never warranted. He's like, Trish, why did you turn on Becky? And Trish just walks by, and I'm like, see, she can't answer you because there is no reason why. There is no reason why. Trish has no response.
Yeah, like why'd you turn on Becky? Yeah, like normally, yeah, they cause the loss. And the person's like, you made us lose this match or whatever. Yeah. But even in this storyline, it should have been Becky turning like. I'm not saying Becky should turn heel. She should, in this scenario, it would have been her because Becky would be like, great, you lost. Like if it was Lita here, we would have won. Yeah. But that's not what happened either. It's like Trish lost clean. I'm like, okay, well, Becky should be more pissed and saying, Trish, you idiot, like you're the one who lost.
Yeah,
but it's not even that.
Wanted to do it. Here's what if they wanted to do the heel turn now, here's how I would have told them to do it. Still have the whole thing work out. After the match, Becky comes in and she's like, she's down on one knee and she's like, and she's looking at Trish, and Trish is like, I'm
sorry.
And she's like, and she's like, and she gets up and she walks towards Trish, and Trish chick kicks her because she's like, I don't want to hear your bullshit about it's my fault. It's your fault for not picking me as a tag partner initially and picking such a weak partner, like stuff like that. Who would be so much. And for the love of God, can someone tell Vince McMahon to stop insisting the use of the word medical facility, of 2 words medical facility? When Becky's standing there, and she's like, Lita was taken to a nearby medical facility. I'm like, no one ever says medical facility ever.
The name of my next book is called The Medical Facility. Because I want someone to say J-Man wrote the book. I mean, no, it's like, stop it. I'm like a big dialogue whore. Like I'm like, it's like I'm like, I destroy dialogue.
Yeah.
It's like even in my own things. Yeah. Right. It's like I'll write something out. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever written. Why is there so much dialogue? Cut. I don't like people using like, just be like, oh no, like where is she? Oh, they took her to the hospital, or like what? I don't know if they can't say like
no. Vince McMahon does not like the use of certain words, and one of them is hospital. You have to say medical facility. Cody Rhodes has been fined $1,000 a shot for saying championship belt. You cannot say championship belt.
Title? You're supposed to say the title. Yeah.
And Vince McMahon has fined him, and Cody says, you can keep finding me. It's a belt.
I know. I don't like
your waist.
Yeah, I like belt because it's like that is because firstly it is a belt.
It is a belt. It's a belt, and it's
why doesn't he like that?
He's like you couldn't use for a while. I now he's back in charge. You cannot say wrestling. You can't say wrestling. WWE World Wrestling Entertainment. No, you can't say wrestling. You have to say sports entertainment. Right. You cannot say you are the best in wrestling. You have to say the best in sports entertainment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But they wear it is actually, you see them come in wearing it around their waist. It's a belt. How many things you wear around your waist? But the medical facility is just it's when Becky's there, she's like, Lita was taken to a nearby medical facility. I'm like, no one has, I never like Jamie, I gotta take my mom to the medical facility for a test. Like
To the nearest medical
nearest medical facility. I'm like, no one ever says medical facility.
I mean, I don't even. I would never say that ever.
No one in no. It is completely unnatural to say medical.
Yeah, it is.
I have no idea. When I
Quick, take me to the nearest medical facility. Can someone take me to the medical facility? Call the medical facility. When you call 911, they say, would you like police or medical facility? Why are you using that term? Well, we're told that we're supposed to use it. I need a hospital, you idiot. Oh, sorry. I need the hospital. Hey, Double C, what's going on?
Hey,
oh, my God. Okay.
Anyhow.
Anyway, so Bailey's back. Yay. I actually put yay. Someone's like, she posted on Twitter saying, did you miss me? And some guy's like, what, with that outfit? I could see you from space. He's like, can't miss you in that outfit. I didn't like the top part. I'm like the Bailey outfit critiquer.
I'm not a fan of yellow. I'm not.
Oh no, I do like yellow, but
it's got to be extremely specific. Like the Bruce Lee outfit is okay.
Yeah, right.
But I generally do not like yellow. I don't.
Yeah, where's the local paid dancing establishment? Located? It's right next to the medical facility.
Oh, shit.
Where would I find your nearest adult entertainment establishments?
It's like one of those comedies where someone from out of town,
right,
like Amish or something, he's like, where's the medical facility? It's like, what?
Oh my God. All right. So it's supposed to be a triple threat match. Blah, blah, blah. Io Sky and Dakota Kai were like all pissy. So then Io Sky got the match, which leads into that her versus Piper versus Michin for the number one contender. So Io Sky is the now number one contender to face Bianca Belair. Who do you think's going to win that one? But it looked like Bailey was turning face.
Well, a few things. First of all, I don't know why WWE has decided that Bianca Belair must beat up all Asian women this month because she's got Asuka and now she's beating up Io Sky. So, I feel something's going on there. I actually love Bailey in this thing because she's like, all right, guys, when I win that match, we're good and we're not getting broken up. And they're like, no, and she's like, no. And I loved it because she didn't blow up. She's like, no. Like, well, one of us wants it. She's like, oh, okay. I'll just have to talk to him. And she's like, whew. And I love that because it's like, I did this whole thing and now I got to undo it because they were, but you know what? They're my girls. Like, I've read so much into that I loved Bailey in that entire segment.
Me too.
And her coming out, first of all, Damage Control Part 2 is going to be Michin and Piper Niven because I would have loved if they went to Bailey and she was like taking notes because I think Michin and Piper Niven could be the new Damage Control because they're both more formidable than Io Sky and Dakota Kai. Right. Plus, you wouldn't get their names mixed up.
Right. I know.
Io Sky, this is one of the best she's looked. But yeah. I feel like they finally figured out the angle on that stupid uppercut.
So yes, I was thinking about that. Now because I associate that with you. Every time she uses it, I was like, oh, there's that Steve thing. But actually, I was thinking, I'm like, hey, did I see her use that? I'm like, no, she definitely used it. And I didn't notice it being silly. No. I don't know if they just got better. I didn't notice it being silly at all during this match.
No. But
and I thought she did a lot of good, cool stuff during this match. So I'm like, is she going to? Yeah. So I was like, oh, maybe is she gonna become a face or I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm a bit confused.
I think she's going to become a face. I think you have to keep Bailey a heel. I think Bailey recruits Piper Niven and Michin to be her new damage control, to be honest with you.
Right.
I think Dakota Kai can stay, but I think Io Sky's on the way out because Michin face, Io Sky heel, Piper Niven heel. Who had the biggest reaction cheering? Io Sky. Michin comes out and it's literally like you're in a library. There is zero reaction. So you obviously have to turn her heel. Piper Niven comes out, people don't care. You got to stick her with Bailey because she is too much of a talent, big talent, to waste in her current run. J-Man, I can guarantee you this. Whenever Piper Niven splashes multiple people,
it's the best.
Steven is happy.
I really like Piper Niven a lot, actually. Love
Piper Niven.
I think she's awesome.
I love Piper. I love when she was splashing Alexa Bliss I couldn't get enough of that.
Oh, yeah. Alexa Bliss was just getting murdered like pancakes. Where's my earthquake here? Piper Niven should do the earthquake.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Oh, my God. I'm going to play my, where's my,
I just had a Tiffany epiphany.
Piper Niven should be earthquake.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I just realized that I picked the best clip ever. There's like 3 great looking. I didn't realize that was not on purpose. It just happened to be the one I picked. Maybe subconsciously there was a purpose.
Yeah, I was about to say subliminally.
Yeah, but like that's awesome. But yeah, anyways, if she could do the earthquake to people, that'd be awesome.
I mean, Io Sky winning made sense because the other two have zero.
Right.
Anything.
Right.
But it's just I'm now intrigued by what they're doing because they're going in a different direction. And I like that. I want to see Bailey turn on Io Sky because Io Sky, this really cinched it for me. Io Sky has no business being a heel whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Dakota Kai is she's just too skinny, and she's very cute. She has her pink hair and stuff. It's it's like Queen Zelina too. It's like you could be heels, but they've got to be like these cutesy heels, where it's just I can't. You're not like a serious heel.
Right? I love. What was I thinking of? I loved Queen Zelina running from Rhea Ripley too. That at least made sense. She chased her away.
I like Zelina. She's great.
She's great.
Okay. So that's it for Raw. So we've got last night's or night before's NXT. So we had Kiana and Fallon again. And that Brooks guy wasn't there, and then he came out. I don't understand how that was supposed to play out. He came running out with this huge bag. It's like this 7 foot tall country guy with the mullet of mullets standing in the middle of the ring holding a woman's purse. It's like, use this. It's like the referee is not Helen Keller. Even Helen Keller would know something's up.
Yeah, I know.
It's just here, use this bag. It's the ref turns. Why is there a 7 foot tall hillbilly in the ring?
I turned my back for 1 second.
And there's this 7 foot tall hillbilly holding a woman's purse. I don't care what you identify yourself as. You're not in this match. It doesn't matter what you identify as. You're not in this match.
It was just ridiculous because he went out with a.
He didn't throw it in the ring. He got in.
Here you go.
And she's like, no, I don't want to use the purse. It's like,
but how do you use the purse? That still has to be established.
Like, I don't understand. Maybe she distracts her with, it's like, look at this purse. Wow, that looks like a great purse. Smash. And then
like, this isn't the brass knuckles of Electra Lopez. That makes sense.
What makes sense? That
like,
makes
he's going in there like, what's in the bag? The bag itself is not a weapon. So
yeah.
What is in it? Is this like Sherry's purse with the brick? Like,
now Sherry's purse was a small little one that you couldn't like. It was like a little handbag.
Yeah, it was.
And you'd smash someone and be like, "Oh my god!" And then that's when the guy's knocked out for 10 minutes, and Bobby Heat and Gorilla Monsoon's like, "What the hell's in that purse? It's loaded." And then Bobby Heat's like, "It's her beauty makeup." It's just so weird. Like, I can't believe this huge hillbilly is standing in there with a purse.
And he's handing it and Fallon literally has to put her arms around it like this to hold it. And she's like, what am I doing? I'm like, this is preposterous. And then he comes out of the ring and he shoves the other guy.
Yeah.
And leaves. And I'm like, sure. Right? And then Fallon loses. Like, I was just completely, it became chaos. I have no idea what the hell was going on by the end. I'm just like, listen, you want to continue this. You obviously want it that's going to be Briggs and Kiana versus Fallon and the other dude.
Jensen Brooks.
Yeah. Like, Jensen Briggs and the other
Briggs,
dude.
okay. Oh, yeah, it's Brooks is the other guy, isn't it?
No, it's Briggs.
Briggs? No, Brooks is Kiana's person.
No, Briggs is Kiana's person.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
God, I've been writing Brooks this entire time on my notes.
I can't believe, or is it Brooks Jensen? Ah, shit.
Oh, maybe it's Brooks Jensen. I'm right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brooks Jensen is the one that likes her. And
What's
the other
the
guy's name, Brooks Jensen. Josh Briggs.
Man, I don't know. I get confused between the two guys. I'm just like, guy who's never. Yeah.
That guy playing first base. What's on second?
What's on second? I don't know what's on third. I get confused. I'm like, hillbilly with mullet, hillbilly with beard. That's how I know. I have zero idea. Like,
and neither are Hillbilly Jim. Don't go mess with the country boy. I loved Hillbilly Jim.
Yeah, he was great.
I used to say, I used to scare my wife by sending her Hillbilly Jim pictures. Oh my God. And she'd be like, "Oh my God, who's that?" And so and then the next person I scare with is Earthquake. So I now pretend, and I said, by the way, I tell people that Earthquake is your favorite wrestler. And she's like, "Why are you telling people?"
If I ever meet the president, that's what I'm telling him.
Because I love randomness. Like, God, man, if I ever had my movie made, I literally had like a page. I was just writing down like references that I would use for. I wanted to do a movie. I used to have a fake radio show. You remember TFSS?
Yeah.
So that was my fake radio show that I had, and we record just random jokes. And I wanted to make that into a movie, and it was going to be. I wanted to make it so that it's the most like in-joke movie. Like every single thing that happens is like a reference to something, and so someone would have to be like, it'd be, well, they call them Easter eggs now. We didn't call them that when I had this idea, like 25 years ago. And the end of the movie would be the characters don't want their autographs to be worth money.
Yeah.
So they decide to sign an autograph for every person on Earth. So every person on Earth gets a free autograph, which means everyone has their autograph, which means it's worth nothing. It's like it's supposed to be stupid. Anyways, but yeah, but I was gonna have so much random, like like one guy's character's favorite guy's earthquake, and just randomness like that.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, the purse. We had Sol Ruka on TikTok with her friend, and then Tiffany came in and it's like, "Why are you here?" Like that was the best.
Why? Yeah, but it was hilarious because it's like, why was Tiffany there? It was just, this is Tiffany Stratton's space, and I'm like, you just showed up.
Yeah.
There's no sign. What are you talking about? It was just completely random, but it was hilarious because it's Tiffany Stratton and she's just funny.
And she is funny. So actually, after that was the actual match. So prior to that was Kiana and Fallon talking about the whole situation. Then it was the Sol Ruka TikTok thing. Then it was the actual match with Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. And that was the whole coming into the ring. So we kind of talked about that out of order, but it doesn't really matter. Then we had Gigi's backstory, which was cool. I thought that was
I mean, you need to start doing this because Gigi Dolan for over a year has been in probably the most heelish female Mean Girls faction ever, and she's been in it for years.
Right.
And then JC Jane kicking her face into a door, believe it or not, ain't enough.
I know.
You need
some people
do more.
Yeah, and some people might think that's worth warranted, right?
Because JC Jane was getting cheered afterwards. People cheer JC Jane still. Oh. And I was kind of like, well, you gotta do something. So it was a nice something. Just as long as we don't get 5 weeks of this like we did with Lacey Evans.
Oh, my poor Lacey. As Christmas trying to find I'm trying to find a Hillbilly Jim GIF or something, but there just isn't any. He's not popular enough or whatever. Anyway, yeah. So no, this is good. Yeah, because let's get some sympathy for her and figure out who she is and all that. So that was good. Then we had Tiffany Stratton versus Sol Ruka.
Which was going to be a flip-a-thon, and it was.
It was a flip-a-thon. I only caught one minor, what I call waiting game.
Yeah, I caught the same. It's the same one I caught.
Yeah, that's the only thing I caught, though. I don't know if there was more.
Well, there was a moment where Tiffany Stratton was just hanging out in the corner, waiting there for a minute for Sol Ruka to finish her flips before she charged her. She was literally standing, sitting there like this, and I'm like, sure.
Yeah, it's like, what the heck's going on? But still, lots of flips. It's crazy.
It was a lot of flips. The right person won. Tiffany Stratton is Tiffany Stratton is on fire.
Yeah.
Now, to me, there's no way she's not the champion by the end of the year at least.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm trying to find. Oh, I can. Here, I've got this one. Let's see if this will work. I'm trying to, because I don't have my. I had to get rid of my Mandy Rose GIF because she's not the champ anymore. So let's see if this one works. Yeah, this. Okay, I've got this one. So she's not the champ yet, but I'll. She will. I'm sure she will be. Well, I don't know why it's taking so long to load this. Come on, load. But yeah, I mean, I still like Sol Ruka, but she's super new. Yeah, here you go.
Yeah. There you go.
We got Tiffany.
Yeah, Tiffany's awesome, man. I just find her hilarious.
She is very funny.
You missed too. There was a Chase U thing.
Oh yeah, there was a Chase U thing. Thea Hale is hilarious.
Thea Hale was just so animated throughout as usual. And then when Braun Breaker speared Andre Chase.
Oh man.
Just the look on Thea looks like someone shot her dog. It was just
I know she's like, I just watch her all the time. She's so funny. It's like, it's like what? And it's like it's like I am watching, but she responds to every word that he says. She's like that deaf interpreter or whatever, the sign language. I'm like she everything she literally everything that is said, she reacts to that. You're like, okay,
yeah, she's awesome.
So then we had the diamond mine thing with what's her face, Ivy Nile, just like talking. Tiffany came out, which is funny. You know, she's like Toodles. I love Toodles.
I love Toodles.
And we ended off with Cora Jade coming out and basically calling out everybody ever. It's like, Zoe Stark, you're a piece of trash. It's like, Roxanne Perez, you're trash. Gigi, you're trash. Tiffany, you're trash. I appreciate you. Tiffany, she's like, I appreciate your attitude, but you're still trash. Lyra, you suck. Indy, you suck. And then Lyra came out, and it's like, Lyra, like by the time it was realistic. By the time she come out, she moved on to Indy Hartwell. And Lyra Valkyria, you suck. And Indy Hartwell, you suck. Even though there she is. She's like, I'm not ready yet. I'm coming. I gotta walk down this corridor. It's a far way. It's not just like around the corner.
Well, I love like Lyra came out and I'm like, this should be your outfit in the ring.
I agree with that.
You look normal.
Yeah.
Like, and she came out and she's like, oh, you know, I'm going to take you out, Cora Jade, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, I love Cora Jade, even though she got, like, her ass kicked and she got her hat, like, kicked. She's just still pointing and laughing, even though she got absolutely, like, owned.
Yeah.
Cora Jade is a great character. She will be a champion at some point. But the WWE draft is really going to have to save the current configuration because they have to draft some NXT people up.
Yep.
Because you got too many women right now. I love that outfit too.
I did too. Yeah, I was trying to find a good one. I didn't realize that.
The pink fluffy. Were they fluffy? Like the pink shoes? They were like.
I'm trying to find a good picture. I can't seem to find a good picture here. I've got one that doesn't have the full. It's not the full outfit though. Hey, Police Academy's on. I can hear it. I can hear it in the other room. We'll if Police Academy's on TV, we're the only two people watching it. I've got my Police Academy 4 posters right up there. Here, so I've got this picture, but that's only the like the top bit or whatever. I couldn't find a good quality one because it's hard to find because it's just a one-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't find like a full picture.
But she was great. She's a great character. I love the spiky baseball hat.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I don't know. She's like Cora Jade is pretty much the TP to me. She's great in every way. So
yeah. So we have let's look at the poll. So we've got 3 votes. 2 people say SmackDown's the best. 1 person says NXT is the best.
Hard to argue.
So there you go. But what did you think? What's the time? Yeah, we could still go a bit. What did you think of like I don't know what's going this Brock Lesnar and
Zoe and Roxanne.
What was Zoe? Oh yes. I forgot that. How did I miss that?
I don't get the anxiety thing unless that's a real thing. But I was just like,
but if it's a real thing, they wouldn't be saying it because that's pretty. Like, wouldn't they get canceled? Like, wouldn't people be like, "Are you making fun of people with anxiety?"
Well, I don't know. It was just an odd thing because she was basically, oh, you're not fit to compete, blah blah blah. You're you weren't able. You had to be taken to the local medical facility, all that stuff. And she was exhausted and all that, and then it became anxiety. So either they think they forgot themselves what she had. Mm-hmm. Or it's the real reason. I don't know. It's just it came out of nowhere. Like when she said, "Oh, you had anxiety," I'm like, I thought she was destroyed after the match with Michael, and they had to take her out.
Right.
She didn't look like she was particularly suffering from anxiety. She looked like she was suffering from a total, complete ass kicking where she got kicked in the head like 75 times.
Right.
So I have zero idea why. Again, this was out of nowhere, made no sense. And it's like Zoe and Roxanne are going to fight next week. I'm like, okay. But can we keep our story straight at least? Anyhow, Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like this is just so weird now. Like I'm just deflated.
Oh
like,
yeah,
I really like Cody Rhodes a lot. He's my favorite of the male wrestlers, and I'm still pumped up for him because he is making it cool. Like he's doing the best that he can. But I'm just like, yeah, I mean, now you have to start somebody from scratch to fight Roman Reigns, which means it's going to be like another 5 months of building up this crap. And then Roman's just going to win again. I don't know. This was the right. All the other times that Roman won, that I've been watching WrestleMania. I've never missed a WrestleMania. So even though I haven't watched every pay-per-view or every show in a while, in years, I never missed a WrestleMania. And I'm like, oh, here's this Roman Reigns guy. I'm like, who's he fighting now? This guy's like, okay. And they would kind of recap, they recap it. And you're like, okay. And then he'd win. It was always a pretty good, it'd be a pretty good match. And the guy won. You're like, okay, Roman Reigns wins. Yeah, all right. It's like, oh, he's still the champion. Day 100, day 200, whatever, right? Day 300, 400. And I'm like, okay. But now it all aligned. Like, to me, it's like they were waiting for this time. Now we have a guy. It's like it's Dusty Rhodes' son. Dusty Rhodes is a legend, and not just because he's a Hall of Fame legend. Like, he's literally a real legend that mattered, not Stacy Keibler or whatever, like, who didn't matter. But I like Stacy Keibler, but what I'm saying, he's a real legend, a real Hall of Famer, a real guy. And we got his son. It all aligns perfectly with the storyline. I'm going to finish the story. That made sense. That story. It's like, I'm gonna take you down. He's got the Americana thing. He's gone to American Nightmare instead of American Dream. So that's good. People are pumped for him. It's like, yeah, okay, this is the guy who's gonna finally do it. And then it's like, nope. And then you're like, okay. Do you know that joke? There's a joke where this guy wants, like, it's a type of joke where this guy wants, like, I don't remember. It's like, he wants like a lemon pie, and he's had the, like, I don't know, he's about to die. He's got like a year to live or something. And then the joke is not the punchline. The joke is how you tell it.
Right.
So basically it's like the Aristocrats. That's the Aristocrats joke.
Yeah. So
it's like this guy, he's dying, has a year to live. He had this lemon pie, I don't know, in Spain or something, like, make up some. And he's like, I've got to get to Spain and have that piece of lemon pie before I die. And then the joke part of it is how hard you make that journey.
Right.
Kidnapped by pirates. Then he escapes the pirates. And then he fights this other thing. And then it's like he gets caught in this thing, and then he gets caught. So it's like 10 minutes you tell the story of how this guy, that at the very end, he's like, finally, he finds the restaurant in Spain that he was there, 40 years ago. He sits down and he's like, he goes, I would like a piece of your lemon pie. And they're like, I'm sorry, we're out of lemon pie. He's like, okay, I'll take pecan. And you're like, what? You just went through this entire thing. Right? Right. And that's what this was.
Yeah.
You just went through this whole thing, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't win. All right. Well, I'll fight Brock Lesnar then.
Yeah.
Huh?
See, that was the problem, was like, I thought they might do that because, like I said, my whole point was you need something for Backlash, right? Like, what do you got to give people Backlash? Because if he beat Roman once, he can beat him on the second shot.
Right.
Okay. But whatever. Okay, so he loses. I'm like, okay. Then it's like, he's teaming up with Brock Lesnar. I'm like, So is it going to be that Brock Lesnar is going to be in his corner because he's like, listen, if I can't win, someone's got to take out Roman.
Right.
Okay, you're setting that up. I'm like, all right, you should have done it at WrestleMania, but at least Cody's going to end up with the belt. Then he beats up Cody Rhodes for 10 minutes, and I'm like, WTF. I'm like, because here's the thing. Brock Lesnar is making the most money of any wrestler in WWE. His contract his guarantee is $12 million a year. So I get the need to use Brock Lesnar, but you've made it patently clear that you don't want to give him the belt because you put on this bogus stipulation that Brock Lesnar cannot wrestle Roman Reigns again for the belt. Someone's got to win the belt. So it made sense for Brock to help Cody
win and then challenge Cody
immediately, because now he's like, now I can have the belt, and there's your next feud.
Yeah.
No, they don't do that. So I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're now doing it for 1,000 days? I don't get it. Like, I don't understand, because Roman Reigns holding it for 1,000 days, which is what they're going for, doesn't mean anything when Roman Reigns doesn't show up half the time. He is a part-time wrestler now.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, they fumbled Mania, and then they came back and they're like, well, we're gonna tag it. It's like, well, it's like it has to be someone, in the back. Like, it was all this crap, right? And then it's like, Brock Lesnar, what? It's like, oh my god, it makes sense because he can't challenge him. Oh my god. And then the wheel started spinning. I'm like, oh, okay. And just like what you're saying, you're like, okay, I see where this is going. All right, so they're going to team up. They're going to do a tag match. They're going to win. Like, they'll pin Solo, right? And it's like, oh, you see? Oh, you got pinned. Oh, shit, right? It's like Brock and Cody, unstoppable, right? And it's like, okay, at Backlash, you have your boys in your corner. I've got Brock Lesnar in my corner. Oh, shit. Oh, dude, here we go, right? Wins the belt. They're holding their arms up. We did it. Brock Lesnar just destroys them.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, bastard, right? And it's like, what the hell? And then I was like, oh my god, he could challenge him now. And then you build that up. And that didn't happen either. They just did it right there. I'm like, so they can still build that up, but now there's no reason for Brock to, because like, if Brock beats Cody, how does that help him?
Yeah. And it was another, and the problem too is that the rationale behind it was an insult to anyone who actually knows wrestling, because they sort of, and Cody sort of said it, but he's like, oh, what I heard was you were pissed off that I was in the main event and you went first. Now here's the thing. And this was said immediately, because someone said that, and it was immediately said, everyone who knows Brock Lesnar knows he wants to go on first, so then he doesn't have to wait around through the entire show to go home.
Right.
Brock loved going first. Everyone knows that. He's always been, I want to go first. So why would he get pissed off at Cody Rhodes for that? It makes it makes zero sense. Unless you literally had something saying, Paul Heyman told Brock Lesnar, the only way you're going to fight Roman Reigns again is if you take out Cody Rhodes. That's the only way that would any of this makes any sense whatsoever. And I thought they were going for that because you could see Roman was whispering to Solo before it all happened. I'm like, is he telling Solo, Brock's going to hit Cody and beat the crap out of him? Don't do shit. Let him do it. Because you saw him whispering. I'm like, okay, this might be. I'm still trying to give you a lifeline, WWE. I'm trying to give you a lifeline.
God, dude, I bought the autograph for Cody. I'm in, guys. Yeah. I'm spending money. If I'm spending money,
you're in.
I'm in. It's hard to get me in on the males side because it's just like I'm just not. I like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, all those guys, and I'm like, even for UFC, I like the women's matches, although, whatever. So it's like it's tough to get me in, but I'm in. you got me, and I'm with American Nightmare. I'm doing the whoa, they come in. I like the song. I as soon as he came on, I'm like, oh, this song is a great song. Got the song on the phone. I'm like, okay, I'm in. I got your song. I'm ready to buy the toy when that comes out. I'd like the better figure, the newer version of them. They'll do a new version for sure. I'm like in for the shirt, like I'm good to go. I got the autograph. I'm ready to go full on. And then it's like, oh yeah, you lost. It's like, it's just so deflated. Now, maybe other people have been deflated in the past. Like if we look at Roman's other opponents and then people thought, well, this guy's really going to win. But it was usually like the Brock Lesnar match where he lifted the ring out of the. I mean,
that was ludicrous.
That's outrageous.
Yeah.
But again, it's like if Brock Lesnar won or lost, that was like I don't know. I just didn't feel it for anybody else.
Yeah.
Like in all of the other pay-per-views I saw with Roman Reigns beating the person and keeping the belt, I never really thought that he'd lose. Like I never thought Undertaker would lose. I thought he would just retire undefeated.
Yeah,
I was stunned.
Yeah.
Like, and were we together on that one? Shit. Okay. I was with a few others though. Maybe Sean was there, right? And I'm like, I was like stunned. I was like, oh, that's crazy. So I did not expect that. But all the other times with Roman, I'm like, I never really believed that he'd lose. I'm like, I don't think he's gonna lose. Like, I don't think so. This one, I legitimately thought. You did put doubt in my head with the backlash thing. I thought, you know what? Steve did have a good point. It's like if he loses now, then I started to do the math where I'm like, if they want him to get to 1,000 and backlash is like on day 1,000, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I'm like, oh, that would be very interesting. But it didn't really work out, right? It'll be 980 or something, right? Like it won't. I don't think it will hit 1,000 by then, right? When's backlash? It's coming it's pretty soon, right?
May, isn't it?
So it's like 4 weeks, let's say. I don't think it's going to happen because Roman's at 950 or something, isn't he right now?
I don't know what he's at right now. To be honest with you. Okay, I'm looking here.
Roman Reigns title reign days.
So Backlash is May 6th.
May 6th.
And the Night of Champions is in Saudi Arabia. That's May 27th. The hell's Battleground? Oh, that's NXT. And then Money in the Bank is July 1st. And SummerSlam is August 5th.
Yeah, he won't make it for Backlash. He'll be under 1,000.
No, I don't think Roman's fighting at Backlash.
Yeah, when will Roman Reigns cross 1,000 days? Okay. What's the date here? So he will reach the milestone 1,000 days on May 27th.
That, I believe, is the day of Night of the Champions in Saudi Arabia.
Brian, I'll probably get my time to. Yeah. So May 27th is Night of the Champions. That's not the next pay-per-view, that's the one after.
Yeah.
List of WWE pay-per-views 2023. Let's see. Yeah, May 27th is
Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, yeah.
So, if you want, he could lose the belt then.
Yeah, so that means on the 27th, he's now 1,000 days, and then he loses it to Cody or whoever. But I feel like that is not I don't know, like Mania would have been, I don't know, better, right? Like,
oh, I think it's garbage. Yeah, SummerSlam does make more sense. listen, if you don't lose, okay. So the four big ones are WrestleMania,
Rumble,
Rumble,
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, and Survivor Series.
Yeah, that's your
The order of importance is probably WrestleMania, Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. WrestleMania would have been the perfect time.
Right.
You're not going to have him lose at Rumble because Rumble is the main event at Rumble is the Rumble.
Yeah.
He's not losing the belt at Rumble. So it's got to be SummerSlam.
Yeah, he's got to drop this, man, because I don't know. It's like I'm not. All of this came together so perfectly because it tied in with the Sami Zayn thing. It's like Sami and Kevin Owens knocked out, and I like the idea that it was like the bloodline was knocked out by another family, right? So you had the Rhodes family teaming up with Kevin and Sami, who were like brothers. So you had the two best friends taking out the two brothers, and you had the Rhodes family taking out the Uso or the whatever, whatever it is, family. So like, and then people wouldn't have been too pissed because you're like, well, yeah, it's Rhodes. Like when you throw Dusty Rhodes, like people need to fucking understand something too. It's like people, oh, Dusty Rhodes great, oh, like this, even the Hall of Fame. I could do a rant on Hall of Fame. It's like, oh, Stacy Keibler and they had Maria, whatever. It's like, what is this shit? The Hall of Fame is like the real pumped up wrestlers. Where are these people? There should be way more of them. It's like, but yeah, Dusty Rhodes is like, that is wrestling.
Yeah.
Like Ric Flair is wrestling.
Yeah. Right?
Like Rene Belloc, he goes, you and I are passing through history. The arc, he's like, this is history. It's just like they are wrestling. This other shit, it's like, oh yeah, let's put Snoop Dogg. Are you effing for real? Like, what? Just because the guy was there a couple of times? Like, nobody cares.
I can tell you this, J-Man, and this is something I'm going to say. If Roman Reigns is still the champion after SummerSlam, I'm not watching any more male wrestling matches.
Yeah, like
I will not watch any. I will not follow Cody Rhodes. I will not follow Roman Reigns. I won't follow Drew McIntyre. Any of the guys I like, I won't follow any of them because by that point, there's no point. And if Cody wins the pay-per-view after SummerSlam, for example, I'm not paying attention. I'm not watching anymore. I will watch the women's matches and that's it.
Yeah, they need to, like, I don't know, like this is just getting really stupid now.
Yeah.
They can split the toes for Cody wins. Oh yeah, and what's going on with this? Like the guy's got 2 belts and stuff too. Like what? This is nonsense.
Listen, with what they're doing with the women right now, they should merge the women's into one belt.
Right. Hey Joe.
They should merge the women into one. I'm okay with the tag teams because how many great tag teams is there around, really? But I don't like 2 belts anyway. Make one belt if you're not going to have 2 champions. Make one belt. I don't like it. I don't.
Yeah, why is he carrying on 2 belts?
Like, what are you doing?
And there shouldn't even be 2 tag belts.
No, there should be one tag team. If you're going to keep it with one, like the undisputed, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Then one belt.
Because one tag belt, 1 heavyweight championship men, 1 heavyweight championship women. What's the
Intercontinental and US?
What's the other guys? What's the theory? That's it.
Yeah.
Maybe make an intercontinental women's belt. That's it.
I was thinking that for a while. Like there should be a secondary women's title.
Yeah, 1 women's title belt. So the SmackDown one can become the Intercontinental belt. The Raw one can become the heavyweight championship. 1 tag belts. That's it. With the men, same 3. Give a US because there's more men competitors, and that's the bigger draw, really. So
you have more mid carders than upper carders.
Yeah, you have more, right? So you could throw in the US belt. So US belt, Intercontinental, tag, championship, and then the same thing for the women minus the US belt. That's it. Yeah. Why are people carrying on 4 belts?
Yeah.
This is like stupidness.
Yeah.
It's really stupid. They should
Well,
just they need to fix that. Like
here's
right
the
away.
problem, and this has to do with the brand split. I was actually, because their roster was so big, I was fine with the brand split. I was fine with Raw being its own thing and SmackDown being its own thing. Okay?
Yeah. But
right? But they brought them all, they merged them all together. So now it's just who's on what show? Like, I don't understand who's competing for what belt. Okay. So then they split them again. Okay. And for a while it stayed split, but now I'm seeing SmackDown on Raw. The only people who should be allowed on either show are the champions.
Yeah.
No one else should be allowed on the other show ever. So I'm hoping with the draft they do a proper split again and keep it separate.
And then why is SmackDown 2 hours? Like, see, it's like, oh, I'm the SmackDown champion, but you have less time, less matches. You know what? I think we need to do Crisis on Infinite Earths, Crisis on WWF Earths, and make it all one thing.
Yeah,
they just make it all one thing.
Well, if they make it one thing, you're going to have to cut members of the roster because you cannot. You have how many? I don't know how many talents you have there, but you'll have 20 women, right?
Yeah.
That they can't do separate. They can't do now for the roster 2 separate things of 10 and 10 or whatever it is. They can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to now cut it, but then the problem becomes with doing that is you have the same people fighting all the time.
Yeah, but now you've got groups of 10 fighting all the time the same. At least with if you have 20, you can intermingle them a bit.
But they won't be able to manage storylines for 20.
They're not doing it 10. Like they're not doing it now anyway. Like it's 10 and 10 and they're not doing it anyways.
Right.
Like they're not doing it. It's just more confusing because I'm like, why doesn't Shotzi go fight this person? Oh, they're on the different brands. It's like
what I'm saying is that you're guaranteed to have half the roster sitting at home while you're paying them.
But how?
Because you only have enough TV time for X number of people.
Right. So then, but then that would be the problem they have now.
No, because you can still use 7 and 7, so you have 14. Let's say you have.
So why can't you use 7 and 7 anyways?
What? Sorry.
Like I'm okay. There's 5 hours of wrestling.
Right.
3 hours of it takes place on Monday. 2 hours takes place on Thursday. What's the difference? What it's called?
Well, it's because now you can separate the storylines week to week instead of episode to episode. Is what I'm saying. You're going to continue on SmackDown what happened on Raw with the same people.
But you don't have to
have separate tag teams.
Like you can have anything happen on any day. So if something happens on Raw, it doesn't have to continue into SmackDown. It can just continue on Raw next time or SmackDown the next time after that.
You have a brand split then because you're only dedicating that brand to that storyline if they just keep doing it on Raw. So now you have a roster split. What I'm saying is back in the day when the rosters were together, it went from show to show to show because that's what they were dedicating. They had a smaller roster and they would continue storylines through. If you're talking about that, you're cutting the roster because you now have the expectation that you're continuing on the storylines from show to show instead of week to week, which is what they're doing now.
But why can't you do week to week and have it the same? Like, what's the difference when it takes place?
Well, it doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't it continue on SmackDown if it's all one?
Because the wrestlers need a week to recover from their match or whatever. Like,
no. If you think back in the day when they didn't have this split, whatever happened on Raw would continue on SmackDown.
Yeah, okay, but right now stuff happens on Raw, and then it doesn't continue next Raw, and then it continues 3 Raws later. So what's the difference?
Because they have a brand split. So they sort of say, next week we'll show you the continuation of this storyline. because it's a brand split.
Right. But they'll show something on Raw, and then next Raw it doesn't continue, and then it continues the next Raw.
But they'll do something else with the same number.
Yeah. So what's the difference? They just do something else. Like, what's the difference? Like, I don't see what the difference is. Like, I'm looking at time. There's 5 hours of wrestling.
Yeah.
And you're going to show me every week 5 hours of wrestling, and what happens in this hour might not continue on this hour. It might continue on that hour, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see what because all that's happening now is that you don't have enough people for all the belts you have. Right. So that's why they merged them all. But now it looks stupid. It's like this guy's got 4 belts. Like,
well, the problem with that is really they haven't done a good job of escalating talent, and part of the reason that is they don't have the veteran talent to prep them for the upper card. They have done a piss poor job since the Attitude Era, and you saw this with Cena when they foist him on him, and he became hated as the top face, which is unheard of, and they just got stubborn, and they're like, this is his shtick now, is the crowd hates him, but he's the top face. They don't have that succession line to prepare the next level. They don't have faith in the talent. They gave it to Drew McIntyre. Everyone loved him. Then he lost it to Randy Orton. Then he got it back. Right. Like, they got destroyed by 50-50 booking, which is Vince McMahon's damning thing, which is literally like J-Man wins one match, Steven wins a match, and then they have a rubber match. But you've lost credibility with both competitors because they both could lose at any point.
Right.
What Vince McMahon seems to have forgotten about Hulk Hogan is he had that air of immortality. So we showed up to be like, would Andre beat him? Because no one beat Andre. Nope. Andre can't beat him. Randy Savage was loved. He was a top face, and then he became a hated heel. He was the champion. Can Hogan win it back? Yes, he can. Right? They lost the storyline elements, and they took away the value of the belts and the value of the win-loss record. Now, they're trying to revalue all that, but you're doing it with a guy who hardly shows up.
Mm-hmm.
That's
if you have there's nobody out there that's only watching SmackDown and that's it.
No,
there's people out there who are watching Raw and SmackDown and not NXT, like what I was doing.
Right.
Like, if you're watching Raw, you're watching SmackDown. If you're watching SmackDown, you're watching Raw. But it doesn't mean you're watching NXT. I am now.
Right.
But before we weren't, right? So because the US belt and the Intercontinental belt are the same thing, they're just on different brands, right? So why wouldn't there just be an Intercontinental SmackDown and an Intercontinental Raw? Like, I don't even know which one's on which. And I haven't missed wrestling in like months now that we've been doing, or a year that we've been doing this. And I don't know what Austin Theory is on. I don't know if he's on Raw or SmackDown.
He's on Raw.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know any of these. Like, if you quizzed me, I don't know. I don't know what. That's why, like, they're not separate to me. They're the same thing to me. Like, I'm not, right? It's like, they're not, so if they're the same thing anyway, then just let them be the same. Like, I don't know how many people actually distinguish them as separate entities. Like,
no, they did do that originally, and it was a big thing if someone showed up on the other show. But the problem is that the brand split happened because WWE absorbed WCW and had all those WCW stars. They couldn't put them all on. And if you look at the rosters now, they're astronomical, and they're not even using half of them.
Right.
So they have but this is an idiotic plan, and I doubt that who bought them ever, like, who bought them Evolve? Endeavor. I don't think you're going to be able to go to Endeavor and say, hey, we have 40 talents that are making minimum $250,000 a year that we're using once every 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, they're cutting them. And the thing is, too, is like the savings on that is that promos, press conferences, like spots, all that, UFC already does. So they don't need any of that production team.
No.
That entire thing is gone.
Yep.
Like, we can edit a promo. We do it for UFC, so we'll do it for wrestling. See ya. So like all that's gone, and a lot of the rosters are gone. Raw is 3 hours, SmackDown should be 3 hours, right? Like the tickets for SmackDown cost as much as the tickets for Raw, but it's 1 hour less entertainment.
Yeah, it's just
like
they are misusing a criminal amount of talent that they're paying a lot of money for, and people are crying for more of these guys to show up, and they're not using them. It doesn't make sense to keep everyone unless they're literally going with a complete. This is Raw. Think of it like WWF, the old WWF. This is SmackDown. Think of it as the old WCW.
Right.
And leave it like that.
Yeah, and don't cross them.
Don't mingle it. Otherwise, cut it.
Yeah, devalues, right? Everyone's got a belt.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's confused. Like, yeah. Brock Lesnar just shows up. Yeah, even when they say, yeah, okay, thanks, Brian. Yeah, see, and yeah, that's the thing. So they're sitting there like, oh my God, Brock Lesnar here on SmackDown. I was like, he can't come to SmackDown? And it's like, oh, is he a Raw guy? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I literally don't know. I don't know any of these. I don't know who any. Even the women, I've watched all of them. I know who the SmackDown Women's Champion is because I know who the SmackDown Women's Champion is. But if they didn't have the belts and they're just like, who are these people? It's like, I wouldn't know where they go.
Well, here's the problem too. Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
But here's the thing. They don't want to do that either because, like, they don't want to cut the rosters too much either because here's the secret. They don't want that talent going to another show and getting big.
Right.
AEW or, God help me, TNA, I think is still around, stuff like that. Ring of Honor. But here's the thing. If you're worried about that, then you realize you're not using these wrestlers to their full potential.
I just dump them then if you don't want to or whatever. But
yeah, if you don't want to make them a star, do a solid to them, cut them loose so they can go elsewhere.
Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. There should just be one heavyweight champion. And then it's like, well, they've got different brands. But for the past 1,000 days, there's only been one heavyweight champion. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
Same with the tag belts. It's like, just have one tag team champions. But we have all these different things. Like, right, but for the past 1,000 days, you didn't, or whatever. They're not doing it anyways. If they're not doing it anyways, then just don't do it. Like, don't pretend you're going to do it. Don't even bother doing it. For the future maintenance. Yeah, did he beat? Yeah, I like Gunther.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Braun Breaker. I don't watch any of the men's stuff in NXT, but yeah, like Gunther's gonna beat Honky Tonk. Is Honky Tonk Man in the Hall of Fame?
I would be shocked if he wasn't.
I should check that. Yeah, he was inducted.
I'd be shocked if he wasn't.
The longest reigning Intercontinental, or the best Intercontinental champion of all time.
I see the roster, like I read through the roster sometime just to see if people are injured.
Right.
I don't see them, and I'm like, oh yeah, that person's on there. Oh yeah, that person's on there. Oh yeah, that person's part of WWE.
Right.
Like you can check out their roster, like the list of wrestlers for WWE, and you're like, oh yeah, like it's such a waste to pay these guys,
right?
And not use them. I don't understand. I don't get it. Have you ever heard of a company paying for employees to not use them?
I'm looking at the rosters right now. I had Candice LeRae, Carmella, Chelsea, Dana Brooke. Oh yeah, Dana Brooke. Haven't seen her in 100 years. Lita, Mia Yim, Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross, haven't seen her in a while. Tamina. Maxine Dupree. Can she wrestle or no?
I've never seen her. Scarlett I saw once.
Yeah.
Like Karen Cross, he comes in, I'm the Doom Walker, blah blah blah. Other than intermittent challenges for the Intercontinental belt, I haven't seen him since he lost to Rey Mysterio, and apparently that devastated enough for him to
Yeah, Scarlett. Zia Lee. Tegan Knox, yeah.
Lacey Evans.
Yeah. Yeah, who you never see anymore. Well, I recognize all the names. Oh, yeah, Aaliyah. What the hell happened to her?
She got hurt, and now she's just been posting very sexy pictures of herself on Instagram, pretty much.
Well, boom! There you go. All right, guys. I think that's good. Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens at the next pay-per-view, I suppose, and just see what happens. But they have to do something because, like, it's just like Roman Reigns now is just boring now. It was great, and then like this would be a perfect time for him to lose, take some time off, go with your family, do whatever garbage you want, and then come back and do whatever. But anyway. All right. Well, tomorrow is the Sean, I, and Professor Bill talking about some 90s comics. Saturday is the Spider-Man ranking right before Into the Whatever Verse Part 3 or 2 or whatever they're on comes out. So, okay, guys, that's it. Until next time.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.